Like if you open the mind of every man, like if you find what's inside, man, you can be surprised. You may be seeing like them laughing outside, even not only for young people, like for fathers, like those who have wives.
As a Gen Z generation, especially in an African community, in an African context, we are starting to challenge the traditional norms, and the way we're doing it is I'm not going to say it's the right way, like engaging in drugs, like going on social media, like posting things, like, because social media is an easy way to just like open up and speak things to, like, because you're speaking to the camera and there's not like someone necessarily looking at you one-on-one in the same room, and then there
What's the story? 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 What's the story?
Hi, welcome back. This is What's the Story podcast. I'm your host today, Eve Elise, and I'm with who?
Cedric.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
You forgot
Yeah,
my
I'm
name.
with Cedric. No, I cannot forget your name. Gosh, that would be hectic. Unless I get like I don't know, a disease, and I don't want to speak that about myself.
Okay.
Rebuke in Jesus' name. Anyways, guys, welcome. Today we have a beautiful topic, very important, by the way. And yeah, we've been very asleep recently.
Yeah.
We've had life happen. By the way, Cedric, how are you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing well. Do you see the sun outside? It's a beautiful day.
Do I feel what?
Do you see the sun outside?
Yeah, it's very hot. It looks like we are still in summer.
Well,
And we
I
are,
admit
yeah,
the
we
weather is a
already.
little.
I think summer ends in August.
Yeah, but with climate change, like recently, the weather has been confused itself,
Yeah,
Like,
it's as if
I
we are
feel
still
like,
in July.
yeah, I can feel like the clouds don't know whether or not they should rain or not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're just confused. But it's a beautiful day to be alive. And today we're going to discuss about why emotions are not valued in most African communities.
Yeah.
Why, first of all, I feel like emotions are things that are strange to most African people,
Yeah.
And we're going to discuss that. We're going to see why are emotions dismissed in African communities? Like when someone is facing an emotional situation,
Yeah.
sometimes we tend to like not want to talk about it. It's not, obviously it's different depending on region, tribes, family structure. African societies are different.
Yeah. Region,
But
tribe.
as an African, I know for sure the majority of African communities, especially living in Africa, because there's also African nationals living abroad in different locations, parts of the world, and it's different for them because of the demographics and where they've grown up, etc. But here in Africa, in Rwanda, where I'm from, it's a thing. So yeah,
Yeah, I think
but
the reason is somehow dismissed in African communities. It varies on different things like region, tribe, and family structure, as you said. So,
yeah,
like the reason is somehow dismissed. Yeah, it will depend on different factors like historical context,
yeah,
character.
yeah,
I think what we can do, we pass through these factors, explaining each one into details like historical context, culture,
yeah,
norms and values,
yeah,
gender laws, like
yeah,
religion and spirituality.
yeah,
Yeah, so we used maybe you start explaining like
yeah.
how
So
historical factors are causing
yeah,
this.
yeah,
Yeah.
so you see, like in Africa, like we are almost in survival mode, you know?
Yeah.
Like the priority is to survive. Like let's be honest. The life in Africa is not easy.
You're a survivor.
Yeah, like we are all in survival mode. Not all of us,
Yeah.
but like generally on a general note. And thinking about emotions is like a luxury, you know? Like not people will be like, you're whining. Oh, you have mental illness. Like, shut up.
Yeah.
We're trying to find food here and you're busy whining about your mental health, you know?
Yeah.
Because people are trying to like find money, survive, find food for families, you know, like parents and children are trying to like grow up,
Yeah.
depend on themselves, you know? Like, it's a struggle, like economically, and we are fighting for survival. So thinking about emotions, it's like who cares? Because
Yeah.
it's not a priority.
Yeah, because our priority is getting food, getting shelter. Like because of Africans have been struggling for a long time. If you get the basic needs, so they have to be no other complaint. If you have food, if you have where to stay, so this you
Yeah.
people consider as if you have everything you need. So like if you have maybe like food, where to stay, and you're complaining about emotions.
Yeah, it's like you're kidding, right? and
Yeah.
and the majority, like even thinking from the periods of slavery, wars, conflicts between tribes, these things have taken like the mindset from of Africans to really stick to survival mode, you know, try to survive and don't really think about how you're feeling. You need to look resilient, you need to look strong, don't show your vulnerability, you know, like focus on practical responsibilities. Otherwise, it's not going to work. And it's like passed on through generations, like the way the parents are raised, they will raise their children, and it goes on and on and on up until to today. So that's one thing. And then when we look at the culture, you know, in many African cultures, we have people like elders, you know, like the
Yeah.
fathers of the family, the heads of the family. Like you need to have that authority in the family, you know. And when you talk about emotions or be vulnerable about how you feel, it's like, wait, you're breaking the rules. You're
Yeah.
supposed to be strong, you're supposed to like lead the family,
That's not
you
all,
have to
the
be
values of the
wise.
family.
Yeah, you have to be wise. You cannot openly discuss about how people feel, you know. All these things really suppress the emotions, you know,
Yeah.
of people. So Cedric, I want to ask you, you know,
Yeah.
because you're a man,
Yeah.
unless you don't consider yourself as a man.
I'm
Should
a
I call you
man.
Mister? Do you know the meme? Should I call you Mister
Yeah, should I go,
or
mister?
Miss?
Why are you gay?
Okay. Don't say it. Look at you. Look. Anyways, so as a man,
uh,
do you feel from like your own life experience, do you feel like you are under the pressure to be strong, like quote unquote, be strong? Do you feel that tension?
yeah, of course I do. Like, most of the times we have like some family issues, like most of the time you cannot be able to maybe go like for example, maybe I have something I'm struggling with. Like I cannot go and tell my dad I'm passing through this through like I have these
Yeah.
issues now. Like whenever I
Mm,
try even to say that, he just say like you have to be strong. Like if you have like for example, if I paid for your school fees, if you
yeah,
have where to stay, what other complaint do you have? Like what other problem do you have?
exactly.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like most of the time you find like main you have like you have to act in a way you're not feeling. Like for example, I have something that is
Mm,
maybe being like a burden to me, but I cannot be
mm,
able maybe to discuss it with someone. Maybe if I even if I try to discuss it maybe with friend, maybe they're going to see me as a weak person, like someone who's so soft, someone who's so sensitive. like,
Mm.
and they end up like keeping quiet, and like you find like it's true, like if you open the mind of every man, like if you find what's inside, man, you can be surprised. You may be
Yeah.
seeing like them laughing outside, even not only for young people, like for fathers, like those who
Yeah.
have wives, like when you have what they, because sometimes you may find like a man is walking alone in the Lord, speaking to
Mm.
himself,
Mm.
but when you
Yeah.
greet him, he just laughs, you chill. But like most of the time, for men, like we are struggling inside, and we like
Yeah.
if you try to speak it out, you like you showing like weakness. Let me give you like this example of the Ben. Most of the time
Mm.
he cries in the public. You see the comments they write on him on
Yeah.
Instagram. No, like
Well, I don't
man of tears, like
yeah, I don't
no.
really look at Instagram comments for the sake of
Why?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm like getting I don't know, it's just like a different opinion for me. Like when I look at the Instagram comments,
Yeah.
yo, emotional damage. Like as the person in the video, I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll be able to handle that. Like anyways, yeah.
Yeah, so like you find they're like cursing him, like you don't have to behave like
Mm,
that if you're a man, like as if like man don't have like feelings, as if we are made
yeah.
different.
Mm,
Yeah, so as you say, you asked me, like I also sometimes get weak and feel like I need someone to talk to. Yeah, we
mm,
also get depressed as men.
yeah.
Yeah,
And the hardest part is it's so dangerous because um men think men think they can handle it,
yeah,
put your emotions inside a bottle, close it up firmly, and let it sit. But it's so dangerous because they think it's okay to be that way. You don't have to be a burden as a man. You have to look unemotional, you have to be strong. But actually,
yeah,
as humans, we have emotions and we feel sad, we feel happy, we feel joy, we feel like stress. All these things are real, like this is just the way we are, this is the human nature, and there's no running away from that,
yeah,
and we need to face it, otherwise it's causing internal trauma, internal depressions, like you were saying, anxieties, and the pressure men feel in the society is real. And here's the thing, in my own opinion, I think it's normal for a man to cry.
yeah.
It's normal for a man to say, I'm not feeling well. It's normal for a man to scream and be like,
It's
I
normal,
need
but not
someone to.
usual.
Yeah, it's not common. And let's, like, as a society, let's normalize processing emotions. Like, I literally remember having a conversation with one of my friends. Not one, like, we were just like walking, and these are friends of mine. They're all men. When I say men, I don't mean like 50-year-olds.
Yeah, they are boys.
My friends are my generation, for clarity,
They are
period.
boys.
Um, but yeah, you get the point. And I was just like asking, we were discussing, how do you guys process your emotions? Because I feel like we feel things and sometimes we don't even know that we're having like an emotional breakdown. And the majority of them were like, I I don't process my emotions. We're like, that's a thing. And I was so shook
Yeah,
because it's like, and I literally remember this was after we had like a hangout, and it was like a social slash food
yeah,
slash event, like little at our friend's house. And we played a game of like asking questions, and then one person was like, this was a man, mind you, um I feel lonely sometimes when I'm afraid to stay at home alone because
yeah.
I feel lonely and I cry every time. I feel like crying. And even when I'm around people, like right now, I still feel lonely. Like there's one it's one thing to feel lonely when you're alone in your house, there's no one, you feel like you're bored, that's one thing. But it's also another thing, which is very dangerous, to feel lonely inside,
Yeah.
as if there's no one who can understand you, even when you're surrounded with people love you and care for you and will be there for you to support you, but you still feel lonely.
Yeah.
Like, it's so dangerous. And when he shared that, I was heartbroken. And I was so glad his friends were there, so they know they need to like speak to him, reach out,
Yeah.
because many people feel the same or even worse. And there's like the pressure on, don't say it, you're a man, you're supposed to like be okay, look fine.
Yeah.
And it's so dangerous, very dangerous.
It varies because like for like most of African communities have been struggling for a long time. Like you see how the African life is. So like when you start having struggles, people start saying, "Ah, now you growing up, now you becoming a man because you starting to
Mm,
have struggles." So like the definition
mm,
of being a man to like to most of African communities have been defined as struggle. So when you're struggling, like you
mm,
passing through tough things, it's
mm.
they say that now you're becoming a man. So like the definition of being a man have changed.
Yeah, yeah, like when, how did we get to this point? Like, it's so dangerous. And for women, um, there's like a fact, it's like an unspoken rule that women are emotional, like, because especially for women, we tend to open up freely than men, like you would be sitting with random girls that you don't know. If you have a conversation over a cup of tea, you can like share your whole life, and it's
Yeah,
like more open to female, like that's for sure.
yeah,
um we tend to be more emotional. Well, everyone is emotional, but for women it's easier to like
yeah,
express it out more than men,
yeah,
that's for sure. So the society have like put that thing on women that, okay, it's fine for a woman, you can be emotional because you're a woman, but for men, hmm,
it's
it's
difficult to
it's
express.
twofold. Yeah, yeah, it's like, yeah, so like that's also one thing, like gender roles can also impact suppression of emotions. And also things of like mental health, stigma, the fact that mental health is not a thing, you can't speak about that, that also can help suppress emotional life,
Yeah,
mm. And also one other thing, for younger generations, especially for people like Gen Z, allow me to use that
James,
word.
like
Yeah,
something that is going viral these days. The Gen Z. Like people are saying like from 2000 up here, like we are third
yeah.
generation. Have you heard about that? We are third generation.
Yeah, and it's true
Yeah,
though. It's
yeah,
really true.
it's true. Like
And
I
it's,
heard about it, and I thought I was the only one like having those times when sometimes I feel like I'm weak, when
yeah,
sometimes I feel like
yeah.
I'm depressed, or like, and
Mm,
when I tried to discuss like with different friends, I found like it's something that is very common. Like, what do you think is causing like this generation from 2000 like up to here, like up to this year? It's like
yeah,
most
for
of them are
me,
not happy. You even find like most of them, they don't even have hope for tomorrow, like, and we are the
yeah, yeah,
generation, we are born in like in peace, like our fathers, when
yeah.
you find like when you see in the past, in the times they lived in, there was wars,
Mm,
violence, but for us we
mm-hmm.
have peace,
Yeah,
we have like good infrastructure, we have school, we have education,
yeah,
but we
yeah,
the one that we are not happy, we the ones that we
yeah.
are very sad. What do you think is causing this?
Firstly, the thing of we're a sad generation, quote unquote, it's the reality, and it's very sad because the generation, like the Gen Z, it's true, we're a sad generation. One thing that is causing like this whole thing is modern shifts and changing perspectives. So like there is influence on globalization. You see, we are exposed to Western
Yeah, true.
ideas around mental health. We challenge the traditional norms, and the way we're doing it is I'm not going to say it's the right way, like engaging in drugs, like going on social media, like posting things, like, because social media is an easy way to just like open up and speak things to, like, because you're speaking to the camera and there's not like someone necessarily looking at you one on one in the same room. And then there's like on the other side of the camera, on the other side of the screen, there's like 100 views, 2000, 1000 views. So it's like it's easy to just like speak out in that way from on social media. But on the other side, like, we are a generation that is trying to like emphasize that emotional well-being is a thing. Even though like we're trying to like come out of that shell in an unhealthy way, using drugs, alcohol, parties, crazy toxicity around life, love, many things. But it's a way of like coming out of that shell, like challenging traditional mentalities of, because from like our parents, they don't they have to put on a mask and put band-aids on their scars and their wounds and not speak about it and not get healing. But for us, we are like, okay, we as a generation, as a young people, we feel sad inside, we feel depressed, and we're trying to show it out um in different ways because we don't want to stay like that, because we have the knowledge that emotional well-being and emotional health is a thing, and there's mental health awareness. We know that mental health is a thing. We're trying to like come out, solve that problem of emotional depressing, like, but in an unhealthy way because of the
Yeah,
globalization and influence on Western ideas. So that's what I think is causing the Gen Z to act in a way they're acting right now. um yeah.
yeah. And another thing, the reason I think is because we are living the life that we don't want to live. Like, for example, and I think this is caused by social media. Before the influence of social media, you used to
Mm,
get like to live what your parents give you. If the
mm,
clothes they bought for you, you go school when you're happy. If it's
yeah.
maybe materials, you'll be happy.
Mm,
Like, but because of the social media, we all of us, we have to like have the same life.
yeah.
Like, competition have increased.
Mm,
If this one is wearing this, I also want to wear this. And
yeah.
like, you find we have different families. Like, for
Yeah.
example, we have different source of income. So,
Yeah.
like, when we end up not living that life we want, I think that's
Mm,
the reason that is causing like to be depressed. Like,
yeah.
we want to compete with each other. Like, if we
Yeah.
bought a Lamborghini, I'm going to maybe to get a Tesla. So
Yeah.
if I don't get Tesla, I'll be like, like, you find like someone who is maybe 19, like,
Mm,
want to have same things as like that person who is 20, maybe 5 have. Like, we are
yeah.
comparing ourselves with others, so we are not
Mm,
satisfied by the life we are living in. And
mm,
this dissatisfaction is, I think, is being caused by social media. Like,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
we want to achieve big things, I think, in like in short time,
Mm,
in short
mm,
period. I think that's the reason that is causing like this generation to be sad,
yeah.
to be
Yeah.
called
Yeah.
like sad generation. And when we don't get that, we end up using drugs, as you said. We end up
Mm,
like, I have there is something like, my friend sent me, like, to us, like, career, like,
mm,
like, I have me like me having different projects and things to invest in,
mm,
but I don't have
mm,
money. Down there was when money comes.
mm.
When money comes, there was a guy, like, these baby porridge,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
Nigerian comedian, like,
Mm,
dancing in clubs with girls. You see that thing, like, We have projects,
Yeah.
we have good ideas to implement that can make, but we have like limitations of not having money. But when money comes, we don't
Yeah.
even invest it in those projects we have.
Yeah.
We want to use it to have fun. Like we want
Yeah.
to have fun before we invest.
And wait, your parents send reels? Did I hear you correctly?
No, I say my friend.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I was like, wait, what? Your parents are like cool parents?
Cool
Cool
no, 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 no.
millennials. Okay.
They can send
Anyways,
me reels, but that's real.
wait, your
Like
parents are on
that
Instagram?
that kind of real.
Okay, never mind.
It's my
But yeah,
friend.
for real, from my own experience, like over the past I would say 3 years, after like gave my life to Jesus, after I started like having a relationship with Jesus, spending time with him, I realized I was also like not processing my emotions, and I was also not speaking up about how I feel and what, sometimes, you live in a family environment and the things they do to you can hurt you sometimes. And they don't necessarily do these things to hurt you, and they don't even know that they're hurting you. But because you don't speak up and because you look fine, they tend to like continue having these behaviors, some things like words they say to you, and over the course of like the last 2 years, I'd say I've started to like journal out my thoughts, write things down. That's just like my thing. And it's not like, I know it sounds very cliche, but let's be honest, when you have things in your brain, it stays in your brain. But when you
Yeah,
put it
sure.
out, then you can visually look at those pages and see, oh, this is what I'm thinking. This is what's in my head. And then you can start the journey of like, okay, how can I make my thoughts better? How can I feel better? That's just like the journey I've been on. That's one thing I want to like encourage people, like try to find a way that works for you to write out things if you're a writer like me. Or I've seen some other people who take videos, you take like your phone and then you record your thoughts. So you just like speak things. You can even like make it a voice recording. It doesn't have to be image, but just like make sure the things that are in your brain are out, because then when it's exposed and out, it's no longer internal and you can start working on it. That's just like one encouragement. And also one other thing that has really helped me is like praying about things, because
Yeah.
my prayer time is just me and God, and he can hear me and he can help me. And if I'm honest, like sometimes I was praying to God and not being honest with him, because I was just like praying about what I want or what that other situation that is outside me, but what I was feeling inside, I was not speaking to God. So that's also a challenge I would like challenge everyone. If you have quiet time with God, speak to him about how you feel. If you have to cry, cry, because God will not laugh at you. God will love on you and he will comfort you. That's just like a personal journey, a personal testimony, and it always works. That's the thing. God will always give you comfort. God will always give you peace. But if you're not being honest with him, of course you're going to stay stuck in that cycle. So that's just like a personal experience, a personal testimony. And one other thing that has been important is speaking up. So if like one of um say like my mother, for example, because she's the closest family member to me, I always tell her things and be like, okay, mom, this thing you did to me was not okay, and I felt hurt. And sometimes it's awkward. Like for the first time it was awkward, and her reaction surprised me because she was actually heartbroken that this is the way I felt. And she actually apologized. It was like, I'm sorry, I didn't know that hurt you. And I was so happy afterwards, because then she knows that some of her behaviors might have caused me to feel bad. This is my family, this is my mom, and I know relationships are different with different people between their parents and stuff. But speaking out how you feel will literally
Yeah.
change your life.
Yeah.
Because then the other person knows, oh, actually, my behavior hurts them.
Yeah, and another thing is you have to consider also how do you speak out? How, like,
Exactly.
because some people confuse it, like there are some
Mm,
people who go to speak out on social media. You find that they are not maybe trying to, like, if they are depressed,
respectful.
maybe they are going to increase their depression. So people that
Mm,
the people are going to come and give them harsh comments,
yeah.
like, you have to consider, like, who, like, the people speaking out with, like, if you want to speak out, try to look someone you trust. Not like, to
Yeah.
speak out is not to go on social media and, like,
Exactly.
say everything, because you might even find, like, you expressing yourself outside in, like, in a bad image, like,
Mm,
because you may speak, like, for example, there are people who go on social media, they speak out of some bad things they did, like maybe they are mothers, and you want, like, if the kid of this mother, like, of this radical, like, maybe grow up and go on social media and find, like, like
yeah.
his or her mother was talking about these things, like, how
Yeah.
about if how
Yeah.
about the family of this person, like, you
Yeah.
have to consider the way you speak out, like,
Yeah. Exactly.
even if you don't go on social media, or you choose a friend, you have to
Yeah.
consider, like, what kind of friend am I choosing? Is it not
Mm,
a friend who is like a traitor, who's going to express what I said to
yeah.
him outside? So
Yeah.
a good thing, I think, if you want to speak out, you try to look for someone, like, who most, it would be great if you look for someone who is experienced, who is
Mm,
mature than you. Like, for example, I might be depressed about, maybe I'm jobless,
mm,
like, I need some things, but, like, maybe, for example, I'm 18, I'm 19, I'm 20, but if
mm,
I try to discuss with people who, like, are, like, successful in life, who are 30, who have, like,
mm.
stable income, like, when you discuss with them, you find that there's nothing big you have, because when they were the same age as you, they were also broke.
Yeah.
So that's also, like, motivates you, and is, like, brings, like, hope to you, like,
Yeah.
I can still make it, because if that one made it, and like, if you discuss with him, he can tell you, like, when I was your age, I didn't
Mm,
have, like, what you have. So,
mm.
like, speaking out would be great, but when you
Yeah.
speak out
In
with
a
people
healthy
who are more
way. Yeah.
experienced than you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak out in a healthy way. And if you have to address something with someone who did something wrong to you, like in the context of like a family member, for example, in me, it has to be out of love and it has to be out of honor. You know, you don't go pointing fingers, judging, like shaming that person. Like, what did you do? You know, you need to be out of love, out of respect, and yeah, it has to be someone. If you have to like share your emotions with someone, make sure you're being like, don't be toxic, you know, be like you said, you have to trust them and make sure you're like open but in a healthy way, you know. And one other thing, you don't need to go up on social media to say how you feel, you know. When something happens, like, don't go Instagram live, crazy comments, um talking
They're
all
going to
about your
increase the
life.
depression.
Exactly, right? Like, consider the people who are also going to look at you, you know. Like, social media, we consume other people's emotions
Yeah.
because, like, the eyes are a gateway to the soul, your ears are a gateway to the soul. The things you see will get to you internally in your head and in your soul in an indirect way, and you will not even, like, subconsciously you will not see it, but it's there. So the things we put out on
Yeah.
social media, they have to be clean. Otherwise, we are also impacting other people who are going to see our content. So,
Yeah, sure. So, like,
yeah.
as we are concluding, like,
Yeah.
like, what do you think about mental health awareness, in African society, in African communities? We tried to speak about it last time, but let's compare it with emotional.
Yeah. So with like mental health, the awareness is increasing. That's a fact. Like, it's important. And that will, because the emotions are, I think there is a direct link to the mind. So like what you feel inside, in like the emotions, it directly impacts how you think, the way your brain processes things. Like the basic
Yeah.
problem with mental health comes from the brain not being able to process what happened, not being able to control stress, not being able to, you know how you feel and start to feel better. So like the fact that mental health awareness is increasing, it will automatically help people to express their emotions, seek therapy, maybe form some support groups. I feel like this mental health awareness will increase emotional support, in my opinion. And because the Gen Z is like more aware of these things, I feel like the future generations will be more aware of emotions and how to process them, like over the years, because we're trying to change the narrative of like, oh, you have to look okay as a man, or girls are very emotional. These type of mindsets are shifting, in a way. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's my opinion.
Yeah. So yeah, that's great. That's great.
Mm,
So as I think before we end up, we talk a little something about social media platforms like Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Like these social medias, like they are
mm,
on speed. Yeah, they are changing things, the way we used to live. So before they came, the life became different. Like
yeah.
so, and people have not some people have adapted to them well, and some people somehow it's becoming difficult to them to adapt it.
Mm,
Yeah, because social media have changed things. You can find their truth, lies, and
mm,
it's becoming difficult to choose what's right and what's wrong, or what's true or what's not true,
yeah.
what's a joke or what's serious. That
Mm.
so maybe we say one thing about social media before we end.
Yeah, so closing up, guys, like be careful with who you follow on Instagram, Twitter, whatever social media you're using. Be mindful of who you follow. Make sure it's healthy for you. And it's okay to unfollow some accounts. It's okay to not chat with certain people on WhatsApp, like block, delete. I believe in that. I believe in blocking and deleting numbers and double tick, blue tick that person to the core if you have to, because it's okay to protect your own mental well-being and your own healthy mindset. Like if you have to delete numbers, if you have to block them, do so. If you have to mute some status updates, do so, as long as it's for your own good. Surround yourself with good accounts on Instagram. Like if like don't be looking off at gossip pages. If that's your passion, go ahead. But if that's impacting your emotional well-being, like delete those accounts. Instagram has the option of I'm not interested in this video. That means it will not continue showing you this type of content. Social media can be a good tool for you if you know how to use it well.
Yeah.
People, you need to protect your emotional health, protect your emotional well-being, set boundaries, and let's be healthy. And let's create an environment for our children to be emotionally healthy. Like we can start to be the first person to recognize emotions and process them healthy, and help other generations that will come after us to also be emotionally healthy. So yeah, let us know in the comments, subscribe,
Yeah, if
like,
anyone have any
share.
personal experience also that resonates with the topic, can write it in the comment.
Yeah,
So I think
this
that's
is
all
it for
for
now.
today.
Yeah, thank you for listening.
Yeah, thank you for coming, Iberis.
Thank you so much, Cedric, for hosting with
Yeah,
me, and see you next week
yeah. See you
for
next
another
time.
episode. Bye,
Have have
guys.
a good day. And
Hi.
let's give thanks to the people who stayed until the end.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Your angels.
they are
They are the
superstars.
real ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
We love you
See you.
guys. Stay tuned. Bye.
What's the story? What's the story?